Although I have reread and revised a lot of criminal material, the history of the Watts family has left a huge imprint on my soul. I am sure that this story will not leave anyone indifferent. This story is interesting because almost the entire investigation process is captured on video, and you can see how the killer, a few hours after the murder, coolly asks his family to return home in an interview for the TV channel. Christopher Lee Watts, born in 1985, and Shannon Watts, born in 1985, met in 2010, married in 2012, and the couple had two children, Bella, born in 2013, and Celeste, born in 2015. The family lived in a large 5-room house in Frederick, Colorado. Christopher worked for an oil company, and Shannon worked for a marketing company. Shanice loved the social. She often shared moments of her life. She constantly recorded videos where she praised her husband, showed her love and children's love for him, and filmed happy moments together. In particular, there is a video where she informs Chris about the pregnancy of the third child and shows his happy reaction, or where the daughters sing a song for Dad. At the time of the events, Shannon was 15 weeks pregnant with a boy. On August 13, 2018, Shanice was returning from a business trip from the state of Arizona. Her plane landed at 1:38 am and she was met at the airport by a very close friend and colleague, Nicole Atkinson. Chris was waiting at home with the children. During the trip, Shannon complained to Nicole about quarrels with her husband. By the way, the girls were old friends and called up every day and talked for a long time. Their particular ritual was to call each other in the morning. When Nicole couldn't get through to Shannon in the morning and didn't get a call from a friend, as well as Shannon missed a planned meeting with Nicole, she became worried and drove to Shannon's house at 12:30. The house was closed. Shannon's car was in the garage, and the shoes she was wearing were in front of the front door. Everything indicated that Shannon and the children were at home, but the house was quiet and no one opened the door. The first thing Nicole did was call the police, because she felt something was wrong. After that, she called Chris and asked where Shannon and the children were and told him that she had called the police. Chris said they were at home and asked them not to involve the police. Of course, Nicole did not cancel the call to the police, and at 13:40 the police were at the Watts house. The police officer had a chest camera, and later everything that happened was captured on camera and available on YouTube. The policeman looked in the windows, went around the back of the house, tried to shout to the owner, but there was no answer. The police officer called Chris and asked if he knew where his family was. To which he replied that his wife and children should be at home and probably asleep. He promised to come to the house in the near future. While he was driving, a neighbor approached the police officer and said that other neighbors of the family have video surveillance of the street. Chris arrived very quickly, opened the house, and led the police officer and Nicole inside. Inside the house there was nothing ordinary. It was clean and tidy, the furniture was in its place, only the beds were overmade, as if no one had slept on them last night. In the living room, Shannon's bag was found with money, credit cards, and Celeste's medication, which must be taken every day, a disabled mobile phone, and an engagement ring. Chris reported the girls' blankets missing. The police officer asked Chris if everything was going well with his wife, to which he replied that they were in the process of divorce and even put the house up for sale. He also told the police that his wife and children were going to visit, but none of his friends had seen them. The police officer, accompanied by Chris, went to the house to a neighbor who has round-the-clock video surveillance. Even before the video was found, Chris said that at night he loaded tools, a computer, books, and other things belonging to him into the car. A neighbor's cameras showed how at 5:17 am, Chris drove his big pickup truck and loaded his belongings for more than 50 minutes. Video from cameras, Shanice and children never left the house, to which Chris said they could come out the other side, where the cameras do not cover the street. That a neighbor said that this is impossible. In general, while watching the cameras, Chris was confident and not nervous. Meanwhile, the movements of Shanice's bank cards were checked, but none were made. According to Chris, Shannon returned home around 2:00 am. At 4:00 am, he and his wife had an emotional conversation, after which he left at 5:15 am and did not know anything about their whereabouts. Chris spoke openly on television, asked the girls to come back, and gave interviews. When Chris was taken to the police station, he was taking a polygraph test, which he failed. On the whole, he was cool, confident, and not at all nervous. Around this time, it turned out that Chris had a mistress, who was also questioned, and she said that Chris told her that he was in a relationship and had 2 children, but she did not know that his wife was pregnant. The mistress herself came to the police station because she realized that Chris is a man capable of big lies and thought that his wife and children might be in danger. She also said that a couple of days before they went missing, Chris began to confess his love to her much more often than before, and she asked him not to hurry. The police tried to extract Chris's confession under the pressure of facts, but he refused to admit it. Then Chris's father was invited, and Chris told his father that Shannon allegedly killed the children in response to a request for a divorce, and he killed Shannon in retaliation for killing the children. He said he had no other choice. Later, Chris showed the place where he hid the bodies. It turned out to be an oil storage facility, one of the places where he worked. The children were in a tank filled with oil, and Shannon was in a shallow grave nearby. An autopsy showed that Shannon and the children were strangled. The court sentenced Chris to 4 life terms without parole and 84 years. As Chris' lawyer later admitted, he strangled Shannon during a divorce dispute. The children saw it all. He told the children that their mother was ill and asked them to go to the hospital with him. Chris loaded the children into the car and strangled one child after another at the oil storage facility. This story caused a great public response in the United States and is known for the fact that many moments are captured on video, from the moment when the couple is still happy together. There is even a video where one of the daughters sings a song for the Pope, to the moment when the bodies are found and the criminal is tried. In general, we can say that the investigation took place online. There is a video of the killer's interrogation on a polygraph and the killer's conversation with his father, after which the killer confessed.